Now the big question is, folks, when should you expect to receive a third stimulus check? To find out, be sure to stay until the end of the video, because remember, I'll be going over the latest news in regards to stimulus payments, social security payments, and unemployment benefits. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest news on the third stimulus package, then be sure to stay until the end of the video. And also, don't forget that I'm still doing a $1,000 Amazon gift card giveaway.
The president also looks forward to discussing how his American Rescue Plan will deliver immediate relief to the participants, their communities, and the American people by keeping frontline workers on the job with $350 billion in emergency funding for state and local governments, providing $1,400 per person checks to working families, and investing $160 billion in supplies, testing, vaccinations, and public health workforce to
Big news from Congress, everybody. The Democrats want to enact and pass the third stimulus package by the end of the week.
Emergency measure that President Biden has sent us, we need the same level of bipartisan support that we gave during the Trump administration.
Senator Durbin, good morning. It's Casey Hunt. If the minimum wage hike to $15 an hour is included in this bill, and it's going to be in the House version that they send over, I know you're waiting on a ruling from the parliamentarian, but if she says, if the parliamentarian says okay, is Joe Manchin going to vote for this package if it includes the minimum wage? He's expressed concerns about it.
Casey has expressed concerns. I'll let Joe address his vote directly, but I think we need to be, I support it as it passed the House. I'd like to see it pass the Senate in the same form.
But when you're
it's
counting the
identical.
votes, do you think you can get it passed?
Well, that's the key question, of course. In a 50-50 Senate, one senator makes a difference. So I don't want to suggest that Joe has decided to vote against it. I don't think he's made that announcement, but I know he's thinking about it long and hard. I hope that he does support it. We need him.
And Senator, do you think in the event that this is excluded, the minimum wage?
On COVID, while the Senate will be busy fulfilling its constitutional duty to advise and consent on presidential nominees, Democrats remain hard at work preparing the desperately needed COVID relief bill. Our country is still in the throes of crisis. Yesterday, we passed that grim milestone, 500,000 deaths, a towering, incomprehensible figure. Millions of Americans have reported being thousands of dollars behind on rent, on utilities. Small businesses are hanging on for dear life. Vaccinating 330 million Americans as efficiently as possible is one of the most crucial and complex undertakings of our times. What we need to do now is put our foot on the gas to end the pandemic as quickly as possible, get our economy back to normal, and repair the damage that's been done. That's what the American Rescue Plan is all about. It'll deliver the resources to keep small businesses afloat, Americans in their homes, teachers, firefighters, and other essential employees in the public sector on the job. It'll send a direct check to Americans struggling with a once-in-a-lifetime financial burden. It'll boost vaccine distribution, and it'll provide funding and guidance for schools to reopen as quickly and safely as possible. That last point in particular should appeal to my Republican friends who have been raising concern about school closures. We all want the schools to reopen safely. We are all worried about the cost of virtual learning on children and parents. The solution is simple. It's not giving a speech here on the Senate floor. It's not criticizing teachers or school administrators. It's giving school districts the funding they need to reopen safely. It's expensive to reopen safely during the COVID crisis. We want to do it as quickly as possible. And it's hard to understand our Republican...
Final passage could come in early March, before the expiration of enhanced unemployment insurance. Democrats hope to pass Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion economic rescue plan very soon. The House Budget Committee approved the federal aid plan in a party line vote on Monday afternoon. It's on course to get a floor vote later this week. Now folks, here's what we have to know about the exact dates in regards to the passage of the third stimulus bill. From February 25th to 27th, the House is expected to vote on passage of the government rescue plan. From March 2nd and 5th, the Senate takes up the legislation and possibly amends it before a vote. From March 8th to 12th, the House votes on the rescue package again if the Senate makes legislative changes. The Democrats have a narrow margin of error. They are pledging to enact the package before March 14th, the specific date that enhanced unemployment benefits for millions of Americans begin to end. Now Democrats are using a process called budget reconciliation, which allows them to pass a budgetary bill with only 51 votes instead of 60. The Senate parliamentarian governing the procedure may rule the wage increase is unrelated to the federal budget and strike down the provision, which has set back the timeline. On the other hand, the wages increase sponsor, Senator Bernie Sanders, obtained a letter from Congressional Budget Office saying it will have a sizable influence on the budget. Now Biden has downplayed the odds Now folks, don't forget that the Republicans are uniformly opposed to Biden's plan. They say it's too costly, and that the previous round of aid enacted in December still has not been fully tapped. But the good news is that for those of you in California, you should start receiving a stimulus check very soon. And that's because California legislators, that's because the California government, that's because California state government has just approved a $7.6 billion stimulus aid package. That means you will soon be able to receive a $600 stimulus check. Californians who qualify for a $600 state stimulus payment could see the money arrive as soon as a month after filing tax returns under a $7.6 billion economic relief package approved Monday by the state legislature. Governor Gavin Newsom and legislative leaders met last week to discuss the pandemic assistance plan. An additional $2 billion in tax breaks for businesses is expected to be acted on by the legislature this week. The stimulus assistance for residents earning $30,000 a year or less will come much quicker, 4 to 5 weeks on average, after they file 2020 tax returns. But still, some 5.7 million payments, totaling $2.3 billion, will go to low-income Californians. According to Yahoo News, unemployment benefits are taxable and have to be reported on your 2020 taxes, both on federal and on some state returns. They are considered earned income and are taxed the same way. Withholding taxes on unemployment benefits is voluntary. Recipients can choose to withhold a flat rate of 10% of their unemployment benefits if they have not chosen to withhold any tax. They would have to pay it at once when filing their taxes. Still, even if they withhold, they may need to pay more in taxes. For those of you on Social Security benefits, if you receive federal benefits including SSI and SSDI, you are now required to file a federal income tax return in 2018 or 2019. Under the CARES Act passed last March, you were still eligible to receive a stimulus check and should have received one automatically. In addition, folks, in regards to the Social Security news, the SSA reports that the Social Security replaces a percentage of a worker's pre-retirement income based on their lifetime earnings. The portion of your pre-retirement wages that Social Security replaces is based on your 35 highest years of earnings and varies depending on how much you earn and when you choose to start benefits. The Social Security system works like this. When you work, you pay taxes into Social Security, and they use tax money to pay benefits to people who have already retired, people who are disabled, dependents of beneficiaries, and survivors of workers who have died. That's all the news in today's video, folks. Until next time, have a great day and stay safe.